So, welcome to day three of the Amazon Reseller Profit Roadmap Workshop. We are going through 5 days together. We're going to hang out and talk about the pathway to making a full-time income on Amazon in 2025, how that is, what's realistic expectations, what to focus on, and what you can do to really see a full-time income sometime soon selling on Amazon. And tonight's topic, we are talking about the treasure map. I mean, if we're talking about a roadmap, this is the treasure map, the map to finding inventory, the map to knowing what inventory items to buy, how many to buy, what to pass on, what our thought process is. We're going to reveal all of that tonight during this workshop. I do want to remind everybody, if you have not downloaded the workshop workbook yet, it's only a few pages long, fulltimefba.com/workbook. You can fill it out as you go, fill in the blanks. There's also space for doodling if that's what you like to do. That's me. I like to doodle and write down your next steps or next action points. This is where you are going to make sure that the things that you learn on this workshop actually stick in your brain, because when we write stuff down, things just stick in our brain more. And as the older we get, we begin to forget stuff. So we can actually refer to something and remember things and get that uh, just really more secured in our head when we write things down. So again, fulltimefba.com/workbook, and it's going to help you. A lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight. Yeah, there's fill in the blank stuff, but there's also a lot of screen sharing where I'm going to show you kind of our thought process and what we do. So we're going to jump into that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen, and Rebecca will be able to tell me if she's able to see it on her screen. But we're going to be looking at my PowerPoint presentation for day number three. Do you see it there well, Rebecca?
I do see it.
Excellent. All right. So, discovering your success path to a full-time income selling on Amazon. And today we're talking about mastering sourcing strategies, the treasure map of knowing what to buy on Amazon, what to pass on. And so I do want to make sure up front I remind you that if you are live with us all 5 days of our workbook, if you're five all days, if you're live with us all 5 days of our workshop, then on Friday we're going to be giving away to a one special person who is here all 5 days this FBA starter pack that includes about $300 worth of supplies. I talked about it yesterday. I talked about it on Monday. I'm not going to talk about it much right now. But if you're here all 5 days, then you get a chance to win this, and I will ship it out to you on Saturday. If you are a U.S. resident, you are welcome to win this. If you are here all 5 days, one lucky person will win this. So, when it comes to selling on Amazon, we wish we had a treasure map, a map to the gold, a map to profits, a map to the inventory items that really are profitable and selling well on Amazon, that hold their price steady and they don't tank, that sell on a consistent and predictable basis. And so when we talk about mastering sourcing strategies, when we want to make sure that you know what is possible and how to get there. We're going to put the X on the map, and we're going to show you the spot, and we're going to walk you through how to get there. And so, if you're wondering, like, am I even in the right place watching this video right now, watching this presentation? Well, I'm going to lay it out to you. If you're an Amazon seller right now who wants to sell their items even faster than they're selling right now, then good news, you're in the right place. If you're brand new to Amazon and you want to make sure you're sourcing inventory that actually sells at the prices you want them to sell for and expect them to sell for, you're in the right place. If you're tired of other sellers tanking prices on Amazon, then you're in the right place, because there is a way that you can almost always avoid that. And if you want to pivot your Amazon business away from clearance items or sale items and to go more towards the replen model and find confirmed replens, you are in the right place. We're going to be talking about that tonight and what we were able to do. So here's what I talk about. Here's what I mean when I say tanking prices. Um, Maybe you're wanting to buy this Mr. Coffee, this little coffee maker, and your buy price is $7, and you see the lowest price on Amazon selling FBA is basically $30. And you're like, oh, that's awesome. After Amazon fees, I'm still going to make my money. In fact, I might even double my money. And so you buy it, you send it to Amazon, and it goes all live on Amazon. But then by the time your item gets to Amazon, the prices have fallen to 24.99, and you're like, well, I'm still going to be a little bit in the black. I'm not going to be in the red, and but no, then the next day that it's down to $20.99, and then the day after that, it just continues to drop into where you might even lose money if you sell this item. If this has happened to you, let me know in the chat. Say yes in the chat if this has happened to you as an Amazon seller. It's happened to me. And the good news is that the more I sell on Amazon and the more I've learned, I've figured out how to avoid this situation. Not 100% of the time, but I would say 97, 98% of the time, I've been able to avoid this situation. And there are ways that you can avoid this situation. There's certain things that you can look for to make sure that the items that you're buying to resell are actually going to hold their price and sell consistently and sell pretty quickly, and they don't tank in price. And so when you are looking at this, a lot of times when you're selling on Amazon, maybe you're doing retail arbitrage and you're using an app. Maybe you're using the Amazon Seller app, or maybe you're using an app called Scoutify, which comes bundled with the Seller 365 program. You can even put that a link into the chat for that, fultonefba.com/seller 365. But when you're looking for an item to sell on Amazon, usually most Amazon sellers who deal with tanking prices and deal with not items not selling fast enough and deal with all those negative aspects, it's because they're only looking at two pieces of information. They're only looking about, okay, what can I profit if this item sells? And what is the sales rank? Is it a good sales rank? Is the sales rank low enough? And there is a whole teaching aspect about sales rank that helps you better understand it, because it is probably one of the most confusing aspects of selling on Amazon. We're going to come back to sales rank a little bit later, and if I forget, remind me. But usually, if you're selling on Amazon, you're only looking at these two aspects, these two pieces of information, because you think, I just need to know if I can make money and is it going to sell quickly. Um, so that is missing out on a whole lot of other pieces of information. Actually, not a whole lot, maybe just a little bit more information that when you realize just a few pieces of information more than that, it will help you make a better decision. And this is when it comes to our workbook, the very first fill in the blank. So the very first fill in the blank is this. Your number one focus in your Amazon FBA business is to find profitable, fast selling inventory that won't tank in price. So there's your fill in the blank. Your number one focus in your Amazon FBA business is to find profitable, fast selling inventory that won't tank in price. So the first fill in the blanks, profitable, fast selling, and tank in price. So that's what you need to do. That's something that you need to do so that you are able to have inventory. Because when inventory tanks in prices, it basically just means you wasted your time sourcing this, shipping it to Amazon, having it go live on Amazon. And if the price tanks, you're like, okay, even if I sell it and break even, I've still wasted the time and energy and even the funds to ship it to Amazon. And we want to avoid that. And it's avoidable in most cases. Um, so when we want to make some good money on Amazon, we want to make sure that the items that we're sourcing sell quickly and sell predictably. And so going back to the PowerPoint, um, Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, said this: you make your money on the buy, not the sell. This is true in any investment, whether it's real estate, business, or the stock market, or I would add, Amazon reselling. You make your money on the buy. That's the next fill in the blank. Most people don't realize you make your money on the buy. I remember the first time I heard this, I was thinking, what are you talking about? I make my money when I sell the item and I get the profits. But that's not what Robert Kiyosaki was talking about. You make your money on the buy because of the skills that you've developed and learned of making good buying decisions. So, yes, you actually get the money back when you get paid, but you don't get paid at all if you make a horrible buying decision. So that's why you make your money on the buy. So you want to make sure that your sourcing strategies, what you're doing, and that's what we're going to cover today, the most important sourcing strategy, you make your money on the buy. And so when people don't realize that you make your money on the buy, there is a lot of things, a lot of ways that things could go wrong. Things could go wrong with that. And I want to help you avoid that today. And so, one of the things that I want to make sure you understand is the next fill in the blank. Use this as your trusted compass on your journey to success. And what is that fill in the blank? It is the number one tool that I've talked about on our full-time FBA podcast. It is the number one tool that I suggest new Amazon sellers sign up for. It's the number one tool that I pay for and would pay more for if the price went up because it's very affordable. It's a tool called Keepa. You can find out more about this. Rebecca will put a link in the chat, fulltimefba.com/Keepa. In fact, I see many of you um, saying Keepa in the comments. And so, yes, Keepa is the number one tool I talk about. It is amazing. Um, and I'm going to walk you through and show you what Keepa looks like, how to read a Keepa graph, and just kind of how it can really impact your Amazon business. And um, so Rebecca, I'm going to share my screen. I've got Keepa, uh, the website showing. Do you see Keepa? But more importantly, do you see my little cursor dancing around on the screen?
I do. I see it.
All right, excellent. All right. So Keepa is awesome because Keepa does not just help with Amazon.com, but can work with um, Amazon Canada, Mexico, Brazil, the UK. I mean, so many places all over the world in the different Amazon marketplaces. Keepa helps out. Also, if English is not your first language, you can set up Keepa to give you the information in so many different languages. In fact, if you want to have a different currency than US dollars, you can have Keepa translate all of the currency information on Keepa to show you in whichever currency that you are dealing with. But Keepa is awesome just because of that, but it goes even deeper. I'm going to show you a Keepa graph. Here's a Keepa graph for a Paw Patrol deluxe truck with collectible toy figure with three tools, kids age 3 and up. That title is just way too long and is not anyway. There's a whole nother lesson I can teach you about that title. But this is what a Keepa graph looks like. And if you're like, that looks kind of like a lie detector test, or I don't know what any of those lines mean, well, we're going to walk you through all of these lines. And so, in fact, I'm just going to turn off all the information on the top chart except for sales rank. So you can see at the top of the right side, it has a high sales rank number going down to a lower sales rank number. And so you can kind of use the chart and kind of see how this is how often sales rank change on Amazon. In fact, sales rank on Amazon is updated once an hour. 24 times a day, the sales rank that you're looking at when you're sourcing it was different an hour ago, and it will be a different sales rank number an hour from now. And so sales rank change 24 times a day, all the time. So that's why it's important for you to not just look at the sales rank of when you're sourcing, but to take a look back into history and see the history of sales rank. And you can see, you can use your cursor and go across and see how the sales rank has changed over the time. And the Keepa is awesome because they give you, like the default time is a 3 month time, but if you just want to look into the last month, you can zoom into last month or the last week or the last day, and or you can go take a look at the entire year of sales rank information or the lifetime of an item on Amazon. You can play around with it. I mean, if you, even if you want to, you're like, hey, I want to zoom and then take a look at of Q4 of 2023, you can actually decide to hold your cursor down and zoom in right there. And oh, there's Q4 of 2023. Okay, but I'm giving you too. I don't want to overload you with information because that's what Keepa can do if you don't know the main things to look at. So we're just looking at the sales rank information. On the bottom screen, it shows you the number of of offers. So how many people are selling this item at once? So this is an item that has usually 3 to 4 people selling it, and that's it. So there's not a lot of competition on this item. And you can see sometimes it gets lower where there's only one person or 2 people in stock, and sometimes it gets higher when there's 5 people in stock. Um, so it kind of gives you an idea of what kind of how many competitors are selling this particular item at any particular time. But it's what's also good is it gives you information about Amazon being in stock. And you can see this area is Amazon in stock, and you can see Amazon changes. I mean, Amazon is reported to change the prices of their items millions of times a day. And I mean, for all their items, not per item. But you can see Amazon changes their price all the time. And they've got different reasons why they change their price. But you can see that prices on Amazon, they change. So it's always good to know if you are competing against Amazon, meaning if you're selling an item that Amazon is also selling, you want to make sure that you know if Amazon is maybe in stock or out of stock. That's a really cool thing about this because um, I'm taking, wow, Amazon's prices. I mean, at some point, at one time, like right now, it's like almost $34, but back in January is at 15.98. Um, it's pretty amazing. Even if you look at the lifetime, you can see the lifetime of this item. Amazon has had this inventory item in stock all the time since 2021. And so it's our two, yeah, 2021. You see this area over here where there's a white, everything else is shaded in kind of a yellowy orange color. That means Amazon's in stock. Amazon is out of stock when it's a white colored, when it's not shaded at all. So this is just good information for you to know about, and then you can check out the buy box. There is a buy box line. Now, this is important to know because again, Amazon's not a big for most items. They don't really like to share the buy box. If and again, the buy box is the little box in the top corner of an Amazon sales page where the customer sees the item and can easily click add to cart or buy now. And what you want as an Amazon seller is for you to be in that buy box because over 80, sometimes up to 90% of sales on Amazon come from that buy box. So that's where you want to be, which is why usually I do not like to sell or compete against Amazon if Amazon is also selling them, unless this kind of situation occurs. So you see, um, for like the last month or so. So we're doing this on May 14th. And so around April 9th, Amazon had a lower price and was not sharing. Oh, actually, back to like April 1st, Amazon was not sharing the buy box. You can actually see at the very top of that graph an orange line that has a few little spaces. Those spaces area at that orange line about if I can't move my cursor to point to it or it might make the well, actually no, yeah, it is showing it. So like Amazon's in stock, Amazon's out of stock, Amazon's in stock, Amazon's out of stock. You can kind of see, or excuse me, I said that incorrectly. Amazon has the buy box, does not have the buy box. Amazon has the buy box, does not have the buy box. So you can see Amazon somewhat shares the buy box on this particular item, maybe half the time. And so it's something that you can kind of see and make some good uh, decisions when it comes to how deep you go on a product. Like if Amazon's in stock some of the time, I might like if Amazon is in stock maybe half the time, I might buy 25% of what I would normally buy if Amazon was never in stock. Let's see a few more examples. Here is a Hot Wheels track that between March and May, Amazon was almost out of stock all the time. And so again, the yellow, orangey, shady area is when Amazon's in stock, and when there's no shading, Amazon is out of stock. And it's a great opportunity for third-party sellers like you and me to get a bunch of sales. And so during that time between March and May, it would have been a good time to sell this particular item. But sometime early May, maybe around May, well, actually, we can find out for sure, exactly sure. Around May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Amazon decided they wanted to get back into stock for this particular item. And so I always have the sales rank information turned on, the buy box information turned on, the Amazon pricing. There's a ton of other information that can be useful in certain situations, but I just wanted you to see what's possible. And here's a time where Amazon's not in stock, and you can see how the buy box continues to fluctuate. Let's even zoom in and kind of see a little bit more information. Yeah, so the buy box keeps fluctuating between, it looks like two different sellers, one at 16.99, one at 14.98, back to 16.99, back to 14.98. And so you can kind of see how things happen in the past. In order to be able to predict the future, you need to be able to read the past. And so this is huge because of the next fill in the blank. The next fill in the blank. Um, the the biggest problem when people are sourcing is because they have incomplete information. And the next fill in the blank, incomplete information leads to huge pitfalls. It leads to making big mistakes with sourcing. It leads to buying too many items or not buying enough. And it's something that you really need to think about and know and understand.
Can I ask real quick too, Stephen,
Yes.
with that incomplete information leads to huge pitfalls. Can we go back to most sellers fail at selling on Amazon because they make their decisions based on
Incomplete information.
incomplete information?
Yes. I
Okay,
think
same
that's ironic that that's something that I maybe missed saying. It was incomplete.
again.
That information was incomplete, but yes.
Well, I was trying to guess in the chat and I said limited data. So similar, but incomplete
Yes.
information. Okay,
Yes.
thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up and making sure that everyone knew and understands. So yeah, most sellers mess up the most, make mistakes because of incomplete information. Um, and so that incomplete information leads to huge pitfalls. I'm going to go back to PowerPoint to show you just a few more examples, and then we're going to get into something else that I think is really cool, and then um, we will go to Q&A next. So again, Rebecca, do you see my screen and my dancing cursor?
Yep, I see it.
All right, so here's just a few screenshots. Look at this situation. Um, on Friday, August 18th, this item had a 7.2 million sales rank, where most people would not buy it at all. And just a handful of hours later, on August 18th at 10:03, it had a 400,000 sales rank, which in this category, if it averages 400,000, that sells pretty consistently. But if you look at that sales rank and you're like, oh, 400,000, that's in my sales rank comfort zone. I'm going to buy five of these. Unfortunately, you're going to be holding on to those a lot because just a few hours ago, the item had a 7.2 sales rank. So it's always good to know and understand these keep a charts so you can avoid making mistakes. And not only that, you can also find more opportunities to sell on Amazon. Like this. Here's a sales rank chart, a keep a chart that shows you this gap. And there's a gap in here because no one was in stock. There was zero sellers. So of course, with nothing in stock, the sales rank would just go up because there's no sales. So if you're searching this particular item and it's like, all right, um, this item has a 200,000 sales rank, and in that category, that's too high. I'm not going to buy any items with over a 200,000 sales rank. But if you look at a keeper graph, you might be like, oh, it only has a 200 sales rank because it's out of stock. Usually the sales rank is about 75,000, which is in my sales rank comfort zone. And so these type of things, uh, the first example that I gave you just a second ago helps you avoid making mistakes of going too deep on something you shouldn't buy at all. This one helps you avoid making the mistakes of not buying something you should. You should, because most of the time during the year, the sales rank is pretty consistent. As long as there are sellers in stock, there's pretty consistent sales. And so it's something that can really help you. And um, and I wanted to make sure that you knew that and you saw that. Here is another example. This is almost a supply and demand in action. You can see the number of people in stock for this particular item. You can see that it's pretty low, but sometime around May, all of a sudden the number of sellers for this particular item just skyrocketed. I don't know if there was a big clearance sale. I don't know if someone posted online, you should sell this on Amazon, and everyone who was on an Amazon seller was like, okay. And then the Amazon warehouses skyrocketed with the numbers of sellers. But you could also take a look at what happened to the price when supply went up and demand does not meet it, prices go down. And so there's still a bunch of sales. You can still see. Um, one of our coaching clients shared it this way. She's like, if I see a keep a graph with a heartbeat, then I know it's potentially a good seller. Obviously, she would also need to look at the profitability. But if there's this heartbeat, you can see the heartbeat. That means it's consistently selling on Amazon. And so it's fun finding a good heartbeat on items that are priced up here when it's like, okay, 80 bucks. Yeah, that's an awesome heartbeat. But just thinking like a month later, it's down to about $35. It's like that is so frustrating because supply went up. So that's why I don't like shopping clearance, because guess what? If your store is clearancing out the item, they are clearancing out the item at every single store that still has that item in stock. They're getting it's not just a certain store usually doesn't get rid of an item and clearance it out unless they're going to continue to restock it. And so, and so that is why we want to try to avoid and just understanding supply and demand. In fact, that's the next fill in the blank. Understanding supply and demand helps you do two big things. Number one, discover hidden treasures along the way. And number two, avoid making big mistakes. So using a keeper graph the right way helps you not only find more inventory to sell on Amazon, that everyone else is just overlooking and ignoring, but also helps you avoid the mistakes of putting your money into stuff that's going to just tank in price. And so I want to make sure I walk you through that and let you know and understand that. And, um, we've talked through a lot of things in this workshop so far. I know this is just day 3 of our 5-day workshop, but I do want to invite you to um, potentially take your Amazon business to the next level. And if you're brand new to Amazon, it's even better for you, because being able to start from just fresh, learning everything the right way from the beginning is so much better than trying to sell on Amazon for a while and then having to kind of fix things. We can help you in both situations. But I want to invite you to our full-time FBA coaching program. I want to walk through some of the ways our coaching program can help you. And I also want to share some coupon codes with you to help you save, and also some bonuses that are going to be available to you as well. And then we're going to get into the Q&A. And so um, The full-time FBA coaching program includes bi-weekly coaching calls. Now, that's not twice a week. That means every other week. Every other week of a coaching call where we get together. There's individual coaching packages and group coaching packages. And so we get together every other week. We talk about our wins. We talk about our struggles. We talk about our goals. We encourage each other. We help, answer the questions. Wherever you are in your Amazon business, you get a personalized, coaching and helpful advice that can help you get to whatever next level you're wanting to get to in your Amazon business. If it's an individual coaching, guess what? You get a full hour of my time for us to be able to talk through these things. If it's group coaching, that time is shared, but um, it's still something that will be, met to your needs and where you are in your Amazon business. Not only that, depending on which coaching package you get 3 to 5 digital courses, full video, full access, immediate access to those courses that can help you grow your Amazon business. And then basically, you take the courses on your own, but then come back to the coaching call to ask specific questions. Be like, I like this idea, but I live in an area that doesn't have many retail stores, or I've started doing sourcing for inventory online and I've come across this problem. How did you solve this problem yourself? And we kind of go and we problem solve and we work together, and it's something that can really help you. So, there's up to 25 hours of pre-recorded training for you that you can take into your mind, and then come to the coaching calls and get more specific things outlined for you. And I also want to talk about some coupon codes. We like to reward fast action takers, people who take action quickly and move forward, because I know there's people who have been on this call in the past, and and you're like, I might join coaching later. I might join, and you keep talking yourself out of it. I want this to help you to really hone in and take action. And I want to reward you by giving you some savings. And so I've got some fast action coupon codes that expired Friday night, midnight Central, Friday night. If you decide to do a pay in full option, whether it's a 6-month program or a 12-month program, pay in full option, you can use the coupon code you see on your screen, 15 off May 25. It saves you 15% off of our coaching program. If you're like, dude, I need a little bit more time to pay, we do have a payment plan option and a 10% off coupon code, 10 off May 25, to be able to take advantage of that coupon code. So fulltimefba.com/coaching to get some more information about our coaching program, to also where you enroll. And if you enroll in the coaching and use these coupon codes before Friday midnight Central Time, you can save some serious money that you can reinvest into inventory to get your Amazon business growing strong. We also have some special bonuses. Um, if you Even if you don't use a coupon code and you sign up for coaching before Monday night Central, then you get a bonus of a one-on-one 30-minute strategy call with me. Where we go in and break down exactly where you are in your Amazon business, the first things you need to be focusing on, the things you need to ignore in your situation, how to overcome whatever struggles that you have experienced so far, or maybe if you haven't started yet, that you worry about coming up. We will walk you through that and help you through that. So a 30-minute one-on-one strategy call with me if you sign up before Monday night at midnight. Also, if you decide to do a pay in full option, we have this pay in full option. A lot of people have been saying, "Oh, I really hope to win that FBA starter kit of supplies." Well, guess what? If you enroll in coaching and you choose the pay in full option, we will send this out to you the very next day. So the pay in full bonus expires Monday night, also um, at midnight Central Time, and includes that impulse sealer, Dymo label, all those Dymo the label printer, 200 labels, and 400 poly bags that have suffocation warning labels printed on them, because that's Amazon's rule. If you're going to polybag something, you need a suffocation warning label on it. And we walk you through everything you need to be able to maximize these supplies. Another bonus, if you decide to choose the pay in full 12-month coaching program, then you, throughout the year, because you're doing a 12-month coaching program, a quarterly 30-minute one-on-one strategy call with me. You already get one as a bonus for signing up before midnight on Tuesday, but we're going to add three more. So you have four quarterly 30-minute one-on-one strategy calls with me. And looking at these images, I realize I use my hands a lot when I'm talking. Yeah, I just do. And so I use my hands a lot. Anyway, but I gotta stop it. Um, this is a big bonus that can really help you in your Amazon business get started off because a 30-minute coaching call with me at the very beginning, that's good as a start. But 3 months into it, another strategy call. 3 months into that, another strategy call. 3 months, and like, hey, one of those four calls is going to be right before Q4, and so it's like, okay, what can we do to get ready for Q4? And then the next call might be, like the last call might be toward the beginning of the year. And you'd be like, okay, what things do we need to do to make sure we start the year off right? We can walk these through these things, but if you do a 12-month pay in full option, this is the bonus that you get. So I do want to remind you again of the coupon codes that um, are going to expire Friday. If you need to take a screenshot of this, I know Rebecca's probably put it in the chat, but here are the coupon codes that you can put in at fultonefba.com/coaching so that you can get the help you need to finally start making a full-time income selling on Amazon. So Rebecca's going to come back. We're going to do some Q&A, questions about what I talked about, questions about our coaching program. If you haven't asked your question yet, put that in the chat or the Q&A tab, and we'll have a lot of fun talking through it tonight.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a couple of things to what you were saying about the coaching as well. One is that we did get a question about the group coaching and how many people are in the group. Um, what would you say to address that, Stephen?
So the group coaching calls are usually never more than 8 people. When
Okay,
if
I said less than 10, so okay.
Yes, there we go. Yes,
Not more than 8, but less than 10, that's the same thing.
yes. When this is how we have things scheduled. When the group coaching calls start to average more than 8 people, then we basically cut it in half so that there's two different group coaching calls with four and four, and continue on that type of track and
5 and 5.
trajectory,
Like
or
it would,
5 and 5. Yeah.
yeah. Anything over 8, we're going to start splitting it up so that
Yeah.
everybody's getting enough focus time and
Yes.
able to
Exactly.
ask their questions. Yeah. And also with the coaching, the calls are different than what we're doing right now, in that right now, Zoom is set up in webinar mode where Stephen and I are the panelists, and then everybody else is not able to come on camera. You're only able to communicate with us through the chat. But the group coaching calls are set up as a meeting, like a Zoom meeting where everybody has the opportunity to turn your camera on, turn your microphone on, and you're able to talk back and forth with us. You're not having to type and chat that way. You also don't have to turn your camera on. People sometimes will join and have their camera turned off because they don't want to be on camera. I mean, it's good to have your microphone on so that you're able to ask questions and communicate that way. But if you're uncomfortable with being on camera, that's not a problem. I just
Yeah,
wanted,
just like our last coaching call, one of our clients wasn't able to have their camera on or their microphone on, and so they were just typing it in the chat, just like you're doing right now. So there's a
yeah.
lot of different options.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make it clear that like the atmosphere for a coaching call is different than a webinar like we're doing right now, where it's us talking and there's a group of people listening. The coaching calls are different. They're interactive.
Yeah, in fact, let me kind of walk you through what a coaching call is
Good idea.
like on a regular basis. We start off the call, everyone says hi, and we talk about our wins. What we like to start our coaching calls off on a positive aspect. Like, what's been a win that you've been experienced in the last 2 weeks since our last coaching call? And a win might be I finished module 4. A win might be like, someone shared recently they got their first sale. Someone else got found a new replan, and we share those wins together and we celebrate those. And sometimes those wins turn into a little Q&A that kind of clarifying because people are like, "Hey, you had this experience. How did you make this happen? What worked for you?" And then maybe there's a time of coaching where I'm bringing a specific skill or a specific mindset that I want to make sure everyone has. We talk through those, and then we open things up to Q&A for everyone to be able to bring the specific questions that they've been experienced and they're wondering about, or even just wondering if I think this is what I should do. Can you affirm that? And be able to just get a little more confidence. And so there's guidance, there's mentorship, there's a lot of learning, and honestly, after you're at a group coaching call for a few times, it starts to feel like family because we encourage each other, we lift each other up. And the cool thing is like people ask me questions, but then sometimes other of our coaching clients will be like, "Oh, I went through that just 3 months ago. This is what I did." And it's a really good atmosphere of coaching for everyone, to be able to get a lot out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And so also, I just put in the chat for those who are here live, but if you're watching on the replay too, I want to make sure you know if you are wondering, am I a good fit for the coaching program? Is this something that where I am in my business is good for me? You know, you have questions about the group setting versus the individual setting, any of those questions about whether or not you would be a good fit for the program, be sure and get on a connect call with Stephen. You can go to fulltimefba.com/connect, and that will take you to the calendar where you can sign up for that 10-minute time slot. And there'll be a couple of questions there that you can answer to make sure that you're qualified for that call. And then, yeah, get on the call with him and you can ask those questions there as well. But we still have time now for questions here if you want to ask some questions here either about the coaching program or about Keepa. We still want to, I've got some Keepa questions too that we're about to get to. So if you have questions about Keepa and how that works and how to use it in your Amazon business or how to get up and running with it if you aren't using it yet, or how to really advance your knowledge of it if you've already started dipping your toe in there, be sure and ask us those questions in the chat or in the Q&A box.
Yep, absolutely.
Are you ready to switch to those questions now? The Keepa
Yes,
questions?
let's go for it.
Okay. So when you're looking at the price history, do you look at both the FBA and FBM sellers?
So since I'm an FBA seller, I only look at other FBA sellers as my competition. Um, Amazon 99% of the time gives the buy box to an FBA seller over a fulfilled by merchant FBM seller. And so just because of that, I don't really see a fulfilled by merchant seller as my competition. And so I don't ever look at the fulfilled by merchant seller. Like there might be a time or two, like if it's a really high priced item, I might take a look at that, but that would be pretty rare.
Yeah, I would say like most of the time I'm just looking at the FBA sellers as well. Yeah, when I'm looking at the FBM sellers, it's because there are no FBA sellers. And so
Yeah,
that's what, I'm looking at, okay, can I price higher than them so that I can sell my item at a premium because people are getting it with their Prime subscription?
yeah.
All right, we've got how much is a Keepa subscription? Way too cheap for what you get.
Yes,
It is
yes.
so affordable for the amount of information you get.
Yeah, it is. I can't remember exactly because you're paying in euros.
Right?
So, but I mean, you're paying US dollars for it, but it says the price in euros. But I want to say it's like under $20 a month to be able to do a keep. And I would probably pay $100 a month. Don't tell Keepa that.
Don't say
Uh,
that.
okay. I'm sorry. Well, this is a closed group. They're not listening. Uh,
Okay,
and so I mean, unless one of their employees is on, no, I don't see any names that I recognize. Anyway, I would pay more for it. It is worth every penny. In fact, if Keepa did not exist, I would not be making a full-time income selling on Amazon. It
true,
plain and simple.
true.
Because that it is that valuable. And so Uh, there is a free version, but it just gives you a little bit of a pricing history, but it's worth paying the full price to get the sales rank history and the buy box history. And so fulltimefba.com/Keepa, it's worth every penny guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, what does the list price mean in Keepa? So like there's different things. It says like list price, you've got buy box price, all of that. Can you cover a little bit of that?
Yeah, the list price is basically what sometimes people call the manufacturer suggested retail price, MSRP. It's the price that a brand decides should be the selling price in a store. Um, and so it's basically a frame of reference price for you to know what price is probably going to be in a regular store. Obviously, online, Amazon is not a regular store. We get to pick our prices, and so you know you can just kind of see like if there's nobody selling this price or nobody selling this item, maybe the manufacturer suggested retail price might be a good idea of a starting point, but yeah, it's not a piece of information I look at. There is a ton of information on Keepa. I only focus in on 4 or 5 pieces of information, and totally ignore the rest unless certain situations arise. But Keepa has a ton of information, so much, in fact, that it can cause information overload, and you can end up talking yourself out of buying something because not understanding the information. So that's why I look at the sales rank number and how it changes. Excuse me. I look at the sales rank number. I look at the buy box price, I look at the Amazon price, and I look at the number of competitors in stock. And everyone's and then I'll look at the lowest FBA price. So those 5 things are the things that I look at the most, and it helps me to decide what to buy, how many to buy, and if I should pass.
Yeah, that's on a typical item now. It gets a little bit more complicated if you're talking about something that has variations.
Correct.
Yeah, there's other, seasonal items. You might look at different parts of the sales rank and pricing history. There's more that comes into play when you're making your pricing decision or a repricing decision. But yeah, for the basics of making that initial decision, that's
Yeah, and
really,
the cool thing about signing up for the coaching program, one of the courses that you get is a full course, 5-hour course specifically focused on Keepa, the Reseller's Guide to Keepa, where we break down everything you need to know about Keepa as a reseller. In fact, the other courses that are involved, there's the Jumpstart Amazon course about how to start your Amazon business correctly, or if you've already started, how to make sure you have things set up correctly. The Reseller's Guide to Replenishables, that was our day 2 focus. Uh, Strategies to find items that you can find on a consistent basis and sell on a consistent basis. There's the Reseller's Guide to Pricing for Profits, how to know how to price in the products that you're selling to squeeze out every last penny. The Reseller's Guide to Online Arbitrage, being able to, from the comfort of your own home, buy stuff to sell on Amazon, buying it online, and having that be something for you to learn and do. So there's really great courses that can help you in all parts of your Amazon business.
yeah, that Keepa course is really good. Is it 4 or 5 hours
5 hours.
5 hours worth of video training, most of which is Stephen sharing his computer screen, walking you through tutorials of how to use the different features and how to make smart buying decisions.
Yeah, like what we just went through earlier, where I showed you was kind of a quick, sloppy example, where the Keepa course is a lot more focused and really helping you learn all the nuances of Keepa to be able to have that information actually cause you to be profitable in your Amazon business.
Yeah, and I know that we talked about this a little bit. Was it Monday? Uh, did we get into the concept of zombie replens and
Yeah,
that,
we talked about it on Tuesday. Yeah.
or Tuesday? And
Yes.
Keepa is how you go about. resurrect, finding out which ones of those replens might have fallen away, died off, and they're ready to be resurrected.
Yeah, there's a thing in Keepa where you can set up alerts, and I walk you through exactly how to do that in our replens course.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So those are the courses that you get, very focused, specific training that you can do on your own time, and then the coaching part of it is another aspect of that program as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, but like there's t been times where I've purchased a course and it's basically it's like a webinar where people are like, "Hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I had a great day today." And you're like, I'm like, "Get to the content." These that 5 hours is not a bunch of fluff. It is 5 hours of laser focused training to help you, and that's just on the Keep a course. There's I think it's up to 25 hours of focused video course training to help you learn the stuff, and then you get to come to the coaching calls to get clarity for your situation.
Yep. Okay, we've got one more keep a question, and then we've got another question about the courses. Um, how how do you use Keepa when you're doing RA on your phone? Because right now we've been looking at desktop, laptop type situation. But if you're
Right.
needing to use Keepa when you're making a smart sourcing decision and you're outsourcing in the store aisle, what do you do?
Um, so what I do is I use the app Scoutify. That like comes bundled with Seller 365. It comes bundled with 9+ other tools. But Scoutify is the app that I use, and there is a way, and I walk you through this in our Keepa course, how to add a link to a Keepa graph right within Scoutify. So you're on Scoutify, you click research, and then you can add your own links to outside um, tools so that you can just go in and it brings up exactly the right Keepa graph and chart that's interactive, and you can just use your finger on your screen and go around. Um, and but also if you use a different app or you use the Amazon Seller app, there is a specific Keepa app that you can use. And you just log in with your, user information, and then yeah, you got the Keepa app showing you exactly what you need to do to be able to make a good sourcing decision. So that's how I use Keepa when I'm out doing retail arbitrage. And it's again, almost every single item that I decide to buy or not, I look at the Keepa graph. Very rarely do I just see the sales rank and the pricing and be like, oh, I'm totally getting this. Maybe if it's just one item, but if I'm going to decide to go deep, or if I want to know if it's a confirmed replan, an item that I know is going to keep a consistent price, keep consistent sales rank volume, then I look at a Keepa graph. Now, what the Keepa course helps you do is you can look at a Keepa graph in like 3 or 4 seconds and know exactly that this is an item worth buying. It's not, I mean, the walkthrough is more introductory, so it's like it takes a while to get used to it. But like using Keepa for about a week or so, it's like boom, you know exactly whether or not you should get it or not. It's like putting on a pair of glasses and all of a sudden you see it so much clearer than you used to see it before, and you can see things a lot clearer and a lot faster than just looking at today's sales rank and today's pricing, which could be completely different tomorrow. In fact, it will be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have two questions related to our courses. One is kind of broad and one's very specific. I'll ask the specific one first. During the Keepa training, do you touch base on rank and how to determine how many items to buy based on the graph information?
Yes, in fact, yeah, there's a specific training in the Kiva course on that. The summary of it is being able to um, guesstimate how many sales a particular item gets per month, and then looking at the number of competitors who are competitively priced. So price close to the buy box. And then you can do the math. So it's like, okay, this item sells 90 times a month, and there's 9 sellers that are all competitively priced. I could probably average about 10 a month, and we like sitting in a month's supply at a time. Sometimes we get bold and do 2 months supply. Um, and so it's that kind of situation. But it's obviously a lot better explained in more details in the Keep a Course, and I'll show you different examples with that. Yeah.
Okay. And then do you sell the courses separately? And I think that means like separate from the coaching.
Yes, yeah, we do. If you go to fulltimefba.com/hour hyphen training, is that right? Rebecca can double check that. And then she'll put that in the chat. But yes, we do offer the courses as standalones. If you're not looking for the interactive coaching and the mentorship and the Q&A time, if you just give me the information, I'm a self-starter, I can do this on my own, I don't need any help from anyone else, all like more power to you. You can go and check that out. Just know that um that if you get to a place where you're like, oh, I need a little bit more help than that, we're here for you when you're ready. Yeah. And I think it is fulltimefba.com/hour hyphen trainings.
Yes, that's what I was coming back to say. I was
Okay.
I was testing it out to make sure that that was the right pretty link. And yes, that is it. I'm going to put that in the chat, but for those who are watching on the replay, fulltimefba.com/ hour hyphen trainings. Or you
Yes.
can go to fulltimefba.com and there's a tab at the top that says training courses.
Yes.
But I'll put the quick link for the chat right now. Okay. I think that is all the questions. If I haven't asked your question for him yet, go ahead and remind me, give me a little ping in the chat, but I think that's everything. Just want to remind everybody again too, if you have questions about the coaching and whether or not you're a good fit for that, where, just want a chance to talk to Stephen about where you are in your business and what the kind of progress that you're wanting to make and what your goals are as far as getting your business to that level that you can be making the income that you need, go ahead and make that connect call with him. You can go to fulltimefba.com/connect to get the calendar where you can sign up for a 10-minute call. And yeah, he can help you talk through some of that and see where you are and see
Yeah.
what would be your best next step as far as coaching goes.
Yeah. So before we go, I've got a question for you, and I want everyone to answer this question in the chat, if you are able. My question for you has to do with tomorrow's topic. Tomorrow's topic is overcoming roadblocks on the
Mm.
journey. So, what are the biggest roadblocks stopping you from finding success selling on Amazon? What are the biggest roadblocks? Is it just getting started? Is it a roadblock because I've got an Amazon seller account, but I am not approved to sell enough items? Is a roadblock I don't have enough time? What are the biggest things that are stopping you from finding success in selling on Amazon? Maybe you're bringing home a certain amount of money from Amazon, and you're like, my roadblock is I'm not able to make a full-time income yet. What are the biggest roadblocks that are stopping you from finding success on Amazon? We know since you're here tonight, it's a high probability you're going to be here tomorrow. So we want to be able to answer and help you fix these roadblocks and turn these roadblocks into meaningless speed bumps that you just need to slow down, deal with, and get past. We want to help you overcome these roadblocks. So, what are the biggest roadblocks in your Amazon business? And so it's
Just,
it's something we're going
just,
to help you.
just to clarify, we have it in the workbook as Friday. We're doing roadblocks.
Oh,
Yeah, Thursday is your journey to full-time FBA success. So we're going to go through the 5 C's and all of that.
yes. I'm sorry, that's true. I accidentally had on my notes the pages out of order. So yes, but we're going to take care of that on Friday. But we want to know now so that we can help you overcome those on Friday. Tomorrow's topic is going to be um, your journey to a full-time income, how it's possible to make a full-time income selling on Amazon. We're going to talk to you about what to expect, what to focus on, and how it's can be a realistic thing in your Amazon business. So we want to make sure that you are coming back tomorrow. Don't worry, about an hour from now, we're going to send you a replay of this session if you missed part of it or want to rewatch it. And then also, don't forget about those coupon codes. Take action, join our coaching program. Let us help you finally make a full-time income selling on Amazon. We are here for you. We've been there. We've shown the way. We've taught others how to do it, and we would love to help you as well. All right. Any
All right.
final words, Rebecca?
No, just so glad y'all are here. Thank you to Rod. Thank you to Heather. Been chatting with Stephanie. I've really enjoyed chatting with everybody in the chat that's here live, and glad that you joined us. And for anybody who's listening on the replay, I'm glad you're watching too.
Yeah, yeah. We hope to see everyone tomorrow night. So God bless everyone.
Good
Bye.
night.